Hi everyone, welcome. So we're going to need a 4mm hook, a pair of scissors, a 4-ply wool, and a measuring tape. So we're going to start off by making a knot. And we're going to make chains that are 16 inches, which are about 65. Not 65 but 95. So we are going to measure our stitches and see if they have reached our 16-inch mark. So basically this is the bust measurement, which is 34 inches, and then I divided it by 2, which gives me 17 inches, not 16. So it's 16 inches, but when you stretch it, it goes to 17 inches. So we are going to make 3 stitches to allow the turning of the work, and then we're going to go straight into the first stitch and make a double crochet, and go into the second one and make a double crochet, then make 1 stitch and skip 1 stitch, and then go into the 4th stitch with a double crochet, into the 5th with a double crochet, and then make 1 stitch and skip the 6th stitch. So that is just how we are going to keep on knitting. We are going to knit into the 2 stitches and then skip 1 stitch, into the 2 stitches and then skip 1 stitch, into the 2 stitches, make 1 stitch and skip 1 stitch, like that, until we get to the end of the row. And then when we get to the end of the row, I'll show you how we're going to turn our work and how to make the last stitches and turn our work. Just a reminder, it's 2 stitches, 1 stitch and skip 1 stitch. So we are at the end now. We are left with 1, 2, 3 stitches. So we are going to make 1 stitch, skip 1 stitch and knit into the 2 last stitches. Make a double crochet into the last 2 stitches. And then we are going to knit 3 stitches to make a turning point, and then turn our work. And then we're going to make a double crochet into the first stitch, knit 1 stitch, and then go into the knitting space with 2 double crochets. Make a stitch, make a stitch, skip the 2 double crochets and go into the knitting space with 2 double crochets. Make a stitch, skip 2 double crochets and go into the knitting space with 2 double crochets. So just like the second row, we are going to continue on doing 2 double crochets, 1 stitch, 2 double crochets, like that until we get to the end of the row. Now we are at the end of the second row. Make 1 stitch, 2 double crochets into the space, one stitch, and then make 1 double crochet into the last stitch. Knit 3 and then turn your work. Now we are going to make 2 double crochets into the knitting space. Make 1 stitch, skip 2 double crochets and go into another knitting space with 2 double crochets. Make 1 stitch, skip 2 double crochets and go into the knitting space with 2 double crochets. So we are going to keep on making that until we get to the end of the row. So we are going to keep on knitting until we get to the top part of the middle part of our bust. So this is from under our bust to the middle of our bust. So what I did is divide this project by 2 sections. So I want to show you with a calculator on how I did it. So I have 95 stitches, and then I divided by them by 2, which gives me 47.5. So I'm going to remove the 5 stitches which I'm going to use to make a collar. So I'm going to say 90 divided by 2, which is going to give me 45. So I'm going to count 45 stitches from one corner to another and leave the 5 stitches in between to allow me to make a collar. So those stitch markers mark 45 stitches from the left, 45 stitches from the right, and then we have 5 stitches in the middle. So right now I'm going to knit from 145 stitches and go up. So this is how we are going to do it. Just like we have been doing when we were creating this, we are going to crochet 3, and make 2 double crochets into the knitting space, 1 stitch, skip 2 double crochets and go into the knitting space with 2 double crochets. So we're going to do that until we get to the end of the row. So now that we're at the end of the row, I'm going to undo this just to show you how it came about. So I already made one stitch. I'm going to go into the space with 2 double crochets. And then I'm going to turn right there by making 3 stitches and turning my work. Making a double crochet into the first stitch, knitting 1 and going to the knitting space with 2 double crochets. So that is just how we are going to go about it until we get the desired length of that part. Now there we have it, and we're going to keep on knitting up like that with our 45 stitches until we get to the desired length. So now that we have that desired length, here it is on one side. So I have one part that I have to come and repeat on the other side. Now what we're going to do is measure so that we can get the exact same panel as this one on the other side, on the other side of the orange marker. So usually I just prefer to count, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So I have 19 rows, which is 7.5 inches. So yeah, I lost my video on making a back panel, but you know how to do it, because yeah, we have already done that. We just go up there with our 35 rows. So I already made the other part as well. So there we have the front panel. Now what we are going to do here is make stitches, which are 95 stitches, which will be making the arm, the sleeve of our dust pink mesh collar crop top. So after making these stitches, just like when we started the project, we are going to measure them to make sure that they are the correct length. There we have the 16 inches. So I'm done, because we're just going to knit it the same way we have been knitting all the other panels. There we have the 2 of them. So what we are going to do now is put together all the 4 pieces. the front panel, the back panel, and the two sleeves. So unfortunately I did this off camera, but I used my knitting needle to put this together, which is not much of the work or a hard work to do. I just put them together like that. So now that I'm done, what I'm going to do is work on the collar. So for working on the collar, I'm going to have to make single crochets around that neck part. So I'm going to start off by attaching the wool and go straight into that with double crochets. So yeah, double crochets all around that neck part. So after we're done with the single crochets, now we are going to have to divide the collar into two because we are going to use it in different ways. So what I'm going to do is count the stitches from the bottom there of the collar panel and to the shoulder part. So you know me with the calculator, I'm just going to use a calculator and show you how I dealt with this. So I have 38 stitches, then divide them by 2, it's going to give me 19 stitches. So I'm going to count 19 stitches and use a marker to put on the 19th stitch. So I'm going to do the same on the other side. There we have it. And now what I'm going to do is use those 5 crochets that I left, but using the I'm going to use one part of the stitch, making double crochets until we get to the last stitch, but on the base, not going up. So to attach, we're going to make a slip stitch into the stitch on the other side, 2 stitches in fact, slip stitch, and then turn our work. skip the 2 stitches and go into the other one using the back part of the stitch with a single crochet until we get to the end of the row, which just makes our 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 7 stitches. So we are just going to be using that back panel, not back part of the stitch of each stitch, like that, attaching by making 2 slip stitches, skipping the 2 slip stitches and knitting into the back part of the each stitch until we get to the 19th row. That is what we will be doing. We're going to keep on doing that until we get to the stitch marker. Remember, we attach on one side and leave the other side. So we are done. That is how it looks like, and you're going to have to make exactly the same, but looking on the other direction. So we are going to use those big parts of the stitches that we didn't use when we started to make this. So I'm going to turn this inside out and to make that easy for me. Those are the stitches. I don't know if you can see them, but those are the stitches that we left. So we are going to work into those stitches to make exactly the same thing, looking the other direction. So there we have the both of those things. Now we are going to work on the bigger part of the collar. So we are going to increase our stitches by 20 of them. We're going to increase the stitches by 20 of them, and what we are going to do is the same, just that our collar now has increased with 20 stitches. So we are just going to knit single crochets like that, use the back panel, attach with 2 stitches, turn our work and skip those 2 stitches, and yeah, that is just how we're going to be doing it. Just take a look on how we're going to do it, and then we'll be doing it like that until we get to the desired length. Now we are attaching with slip stitches on 2 single crochets like that, and skip 2, and like that. That is just how we're going to do it. We'll be making that all around until we get to the other side, and then attach it. Now we'll be looking on how our project looks like. We'll be looking on how our project looks like, how our finished product looks like. Now this is our finished product. That is how it looks like. This is how it looks like at the back. So yeah, thank you very much for watching this tutorial. Please do like, comment, and subscribe. I'll be coming back with more tutorials. So yeah, bye. Thank you for watching.